Welcome to another episode of Personal Finances, Dave Ramsey style. Tonight, let's take a look at the debt snowball, how you can use it, and why it's effective. Also, stick around to the end. I will give you a question to answer for 1 point towards your prize at the end of the year. To really get a grasp of the debt snowball, I've put together a spreadsheet that uses realistic numbers and realistic timeframes. And not just that, but I compared it to the debt avalanche. Let's get into the numbers. I've put together 4 debts that are quite typical. This one is a special line of credit. Sometimes you get credit card offers. It's more of a balance transfer. And I've seen 2% as long as, a couple years. I've even seen permanent ones. So we'll just say this one's 2%. Car loan, $4,000 at 3%. This is a great rate for a car loan. Credit card, I put $7,500, that's my limit, and we'll say it's maxed at 18%, which is quite conservative. Line of credit, $15,000, we'll say that's maxed as well at 5%, which is a great rate for a line of credit. The total debt is $28,500. The average debt today is just over $40,000. The monthly interest, I've calculated all these amounts. Minimum payments, I looked up what the typical minimum payment is for each of these items. Total monthly expenses, if you're just paying the minimum on these debts, is a whopping $838. I plugged all these numbers into a debt paydown calculator, and that's how I came with these time frames. If you're paying just the minimum, that will be longer because as you pay down your debt, your minimum payment actually gets reduced a little bit. So that's more like 8 years typically, maybe 9. I put never for the line of credit because at $15,000, it's quite discouraging. And a lot of people maybe pay it down a few thousand and then something else comes up and they don't have an emergency fund, so they have to tap into their line of credit. And it just seems to never end. If you read Dave Ramsey's Total Money Makeover, and I totally recommend that you do, he will say that you need a budget before you get into this baby step. You actually need an emergency fund, which will help you not tap into that line of credit over and over again. But once you have a budget and you find places that you can cut down on spending, you'll probably find, typically I'd say about $300 extra a month to put towards your debt. So that being said, let's jump right in. So the debt snowball, basically the idea is to line up your debts from the lowest amount owing to the highest amount owing. In this case, it would be your line of credit, $2,000, then your car loan, $4,000, then your credit card, $7,500, and finally the biggest amount is your line of credit, which is $15,000. If you look at the comparison here, see here with the snowball, your first debt will be paid off in 6 months, and then you can add your $350 to the next debt. And I already factored in the amount paid down in those 6 months with only $300 a month going towards the car loan. From that point on, it's an additional 4 months to pay down your car loan. So you see right off the bat, 6 months in, you're already paying off one of your debts right off the bat. And then only 4 months after that, you're paying off your car loan. And only 9 months after that, you're paying off your credit card. And then it's 10 months to pay off that huge $15,000 loan. Now, if you contrast that with the traditional method of paying down debt and the mathematically more correct way of doing it, it will take you 17 months before you get your first debt down to zero. Your car loan will be paid off before you even pay off your biggest interest debt. But it'll still take you over a year to pay off that car loan, 14 months. Then you start getting your victories. Then 3 months after that, you pay off your credit card. 11 months after that, you pay off your line of credit, which is almost a year. So you're going a year and more without seeing victories. 11 months is a long time. More likely than not, Christmas is gonna fall in there and it's just gonna be super discouraging to wanna spend all that money on gifts, but seeing that massive debt still lingering. So the debt avalanche, yes, if you can do it and stick to it, it will be quicker, but notice that it's only 1 month quicker over a 29-month period. So it's not that much. Once you're done with all that debt, you have an extra $1,100 that you can invest, or well, the next baby step would be to build up a real emergency fund of 3 to 6 months worth of your needs. $1,100, you'll get there probably in, I'd say, a year typically, or less, depending on what you need. So I've come up with a few reasons why I believe this method works extremely well. The first victory of paying off that first balance feels amazing. If it's a credit card or something that you can close, that feels even better. It kind of fuels a fire. You do get that with a debt avalanche, but not so quickly one after the other. And as you pay off debt after debt, the amount that you can attack your next debt with grows each time, hence the snowball effect. And it's amazing. It's a lot easier to focus on one item than try to focus on all these debts and manage them all. So it's really helpful if you can make a list, write it down, post it on your fridge, and just remind yourself to concentrate on that next debt that you're attacking. Forget about the other ones, set up an automatic payment, just focus on that one, and any little extra you have, just throw it at that debt and you will be there in no time. It'll go by faster than you think. Click that subscribe button. I'll be posting lots of videos on the topic. Question of the day. In what order do you line up your debts in the debt snowball? Get a point if you answer correctly. If you want to see all 7 steps of Dave Ramsey's Total Money Makeover, check out this video now. Until next time, peace.
8, 7, 6, 4, 3, 2, 1, and liftoff of Space Shuttle Atlantis. A final visit to enhance the vision of Hubble